What is going on, Notre Dame fans? This is Mike Singer and Todd Burlage. Yeah, you're probably wondering where the heck is Tim Hyde? Who's this Todd Burlage guy? And you know what? I'm saying the same thing. I feel
As am I.
just kidding. So Tim was out today. So we couldn't go live. I mean, literally after the clock hits triple zeros, we tried to go live right away. But with Tim being out today, and then Todd does a lot of work for our Blue and Gold Illustrated magazine and website. Todd, you've already posted 2 articles on our website after the game, so we had to postpone going live a little bit. But so do apologize for that, but appreciate the 82 lovely folks who are with us live right now. I'm sure we'll have plenty more to join us as the show goes on. So Todd, tell the people about all the preparation we've done for this, just in terms of like, here's what we're going to talk about. None, right? I mean, so
no, I had to take my daughter to work, so I'm racing around doing that, trying to get the web stories up. But I did watch the entire game, and I do have some takeaways. It was a really solid performance from Notre Dame. I thought maybe their best of the year.
So we'll have tons to talk about, but we really want to get to the comments. So, folks, if you have some thoughts, we'll be reading your comments, and of course, hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Drop a super chat if you have any questions that you want answered right away. If you want more Notre Dame football recruiting coverage, go to blueandgold.com. Tons of stories, and if you want like just more than your normal, the stories you can get anywhere, you want to subscribe to our website. It's just $10, and that gets you access through the start of next football season. So all the recruiting information,
that's a lot.
All the good analysis on the Notre Dame football team. You get to read Todd Burlage a few times a week, Mike Singer several times a day. So definitely head to the website and check it out. And yeah, Walshed Up says, I doubt anyone will talk about Pine. You are obviously being sarcastic, and you're incorrect, obviously. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Drew Pine and Susan. I love the little intro as well. But all right, Mr. Burlage, your initial thoughts to the 41 to 24 win for the Irish.
I love the commitment to the run game. I thought that was fabulous. That's really going to be Notre Dame's recipe this entire season. When the run, it's already shown. I mean, here we are through 8 games. When they can run the ball, they don't need Drew Pine. They really don't. And they did it today against a pretty stout, at least statistically stout Syracuse team. Actually, I thought Notre Dame kind of did everything that nobody expected them to do. They really limited a talented Orange offense. And they were really able to impose their will against a Syracuse defense that's been pretty good. It came in ranked 6th in the country, Mike, in scoring defense. I believe it was 15.9 points a game. So I think they did everything they needed to do. If you're really looking for a confidence booster, this game, I think, really can serve as one.
All right. We're gonna do something. I don't get to pat myself on the back too often because I'm wrong a lot. But I don't know if you know where I'm going with this.
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. This is our staff predictions article. Patrick Angles, 23-20 Syracuse. Tyler Horka, 23-19 Syracuse. Who's that? Sounds like a handsome Todd Burlage, 27-24. Let's skip this guy. I don't know who that singer guy is. Sounds like a clown. Downey. Steve Downey, our magazine editor. Notre Dame Syracuse. Tim Hyde picked a Notre Dame win. I don't know if Mike Goolsby said this on the air, but he had told me and Tim privately, at least. He might have said it on our show last week or on Tuesday, that he thought Notre Dame would lose to Syracuse and beat Clemson. This Mike Singer guy. Let me tell you about this Mike Singer guy.
The recruiting guys in the know as far as outcomes even. It's an impressive pick, Mike. Well, what was
hey! I'm not done yet. We'll go to you.
I'm trying to interrupt.
Let me read. This Notre Dame team has been fairly unpredictable this season, turning up in big spots. This was a big spot, and playing poorly in contests they shouldn't be doing so in, like Marshall and Stanford. Notre Dame has played well against the 4 best teams on the 5. Is this 5? Ohio State, Cal. I guess half of Cal, BYU,
North Carolina, UNC, Syracuse. BYU, Syracuse, and Ohio State.
And I also wrote, look, they have the better players, and they've played their best away from home this season. I've been wrong about a lot, but see, this is how I know Josh has been watching us forever, because that's what Goolsby called me like a year or two ago, the eternal optimist Mike Singer. I do have a lot of complaints about Notre Dame right now, but they were the better football team and deserved to win, and went out there and rather than or excuse me, other than a little shaky moment there, and what was it, late in the third quarter going into the fourth,
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh
right,
crap,
right.
it's 24-17." Notre Dame was the much better team tonight.
And made the big play in that situation when they were only up 7. Syracuse looked like they were driving a little bit, a lot of momentum inside of the dome there, and then Howard Cross gets the tip, and Leafow gets the interception. That was really, I wouldn't call it the play of the game per se, or the the tide turner, but it certainly was a lead protector, because after that Notre Dame really got it going, really rolled from there. But you're right, that was about the only time during that entire game that you're like, oh boy, what's going on here?
Yeah. So, in our show last week, Goolsby and I got into a spirited debate. It was more of a talk show than a Goolsby show. I don't know if you got to watch that one, Todd, but that's more of what it was, and a lot of comments with us live on our back on YouTube. Many people were like, that whole discussion, is Drew Pine bad? Lots of people talking about it on our blueandgold.com message board. I've got people tweeting at me, so a lot of people are very much at least enjoyed that discussion between Goolsby and myself. And of course, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have the Goolsby show. And since Tim couldn't do this show with us, we'll have Tim with us next week. So it'll be Singer, Goolsby, and Hyde. That'll be a fantastic show. So make sure you tune in for that. But
I'm sent back to the scout team.
absolutely, Mr. Burlage. But in all seriousness, Pine was not good. He was not good. I'm very concerned moving forward. I don't want to completely, just trash him, but like, this Notre Dame team they have to win, like, in spite of him, because the passing offense was abysmal. I mean, it really was. I mean, Pine 9 of 19, 116 yards, a touchdown in the pick. The pick. I mean, he's forcing it to Mare. I
I
mean,
don't know. Just need a little off done. I thought Mayor, a good quarterback would make that play. In all honesty, you just kind of drop it in there.
but I mean, it was such a. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, because if you throw it any shorter, it's getting picked, and then any longer, it's getting picked. And then that's the best. I think that's probably the best throw Pine could have made in that situation, where it's just Mare can get a fingertip on it. He should just not have thrown that football.
I know the analyst said that he had somebody in the flat wide open. I know
It was a running back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
what it was. But
Todd, I thought Reese called a fine game. It's just Pine is who he is. I mean,
well, you know what, Mike? You just do your best to take Pine out of the equation. Just lean on these 2 sophomore running backs, mix a little Tyree in there, and you can get it done. That offensive line, it was amazing today, especially the guards and center there, especially inside the tackles, I guess is what I should say. What is it? What did they average? It wasn't. I think I always like the number of carries when you look at a Notre Dame offense in a game, and when you get
56.
56, that's always a key stat for me.
I think Todd, I think that includes a couple of kneel downs and maybe if he was sacked, but
right now,
still 20 carries apiece.
Yeah,
that is.
They talk a lot about balance on Notre Dame offense, and they've done it in the big games. They've really been balanced. They weren't so much today, but they didn't need to be. It was an impressive performance. I liked it. To see some turnovers finally, that was nice. Pick 6 for Joseph, I thought that was to me, obviously set the tone. It didn't necessarily wasn't the game-changing play per se, but that was nice to see. And the job that they did on Tucker and Schrader, the running back and quarterback, those guys, that's a talented duo there. And Notre Dame really shut them down early and often. I think I'm trying to remember what I wrote earlier, Mike. I believe there were 7 straight possessions through the second quarter and into the third that resulted in, I believe it was 4 3-and-outs, 2 over on downs, and an interception. That's pretty good work from your defense when you build a little bit of a lead there.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the thought on Pine. You have to play really well on special teams, dominate in the run game, and have a really good defensive performance for this team to win a game against a big time opponent.
And not fall behind. This is, Notre Dame actually trailed in each of its first 6 games this year, Mike. Now back to back UNLV and now today against Syracuse, they've actually led wire to wire. So that was a problem they had earlier. We've talked a lot about quick starts and this and that, but Notre Dame had trailed in all 6 of its first games. So that's nice to kind of get that monkey off their back, because this team is not going to be equipped. If it falls down 2 scores, it is not going to be equipped to come back.
Yeah. So the question is moving forward, like, can Notre Dame do this against Clemson? You want to know the key figure in that Notre Dame Clemson game on the Notre Dame side of things? It's not Pine, it's Tommy Rees. He's got to be exquisite for Notre Dame to beat Clemson, because look, Pine definitely had some good moments. I thought that ball down to Mayer was huge at the end of the second quarter to put Notre Dame from 14-7 to 21-7.
That was my turning point for me, actually. Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had good moments. Just what's so frustrating to me is, like, he can make a lot of these throws. We know he's a limited athlete, but he can do it. He's just so inconsistent right now. And it's been 3 straight games of him being right around 50% or worse. So with Clemson coming to town next week, Notre Dame's not great at home, so I'm a little nervous about next week. But hey, Notre Dame got to 5-3. They were underdogs in this game. Literally everyone at blue and gold except for yours truly thought it was going to be a loss for the Irish. You've got Clemson. If we say that's a loss, then you get Boston College at home, or it might be Navy before that. But you get
Navy, Baltimore, and then Boston College. Yep.
2 extremely winnable games, but then again, they lost to Marshall and Stanford, so who the hell knows? But you should win those 2, and then USC. So you're looking at 7 to 8 wins. After losing to Marshall and Stanford, I think you'd take that.
Yeah. What would that make it now? 5-1 last 6. It doesn't feel like it, having that Stanford loss mixed in there, but 5-1 last 6 games. Is my math right on that? I believe it is.
Yeah, they're 5-3 after an 0-2 start. So there you go.
So that's almost hard to believe. It just doesn't feel that way to me. Clemson, a little bit vulnerable. They have won. I'm working a little bit off the top of my head here, but I believe it's 5 of their conference games, Mike. They've only won by 6 points. There's a double overtime 51-45 win over Wake Forest. Hell, Syracuse had them down. I believe it was 17, and they came back and beat. This is not. I don't think this is your daddy's Clemson team in a lot of ways. Yeah. It looks vulnerable now. The matchups that you're given, can Notre Dame dominate a Clemson defensive front like they did Syracuse? That I kind of doubt. And in all honesty, that's where it's all going to have to start, is on that offensive line. Clemson's going to make some plays. They're going to make some mistakes as well. But I think if Notre Dame's front line, the offensive line especially, can move them around, they'll be fine. If they can't, it's going to be a problem, because guess whose shoulders that falls on then, Mike? That'd be Mr. Drew Pine.
Yeah. Notre Dame just can't be put in a position where they need him. I mean, for folks who listen to us weekly, I love my term truck or trailer at the quarterback position. I mean, he needs not only the running game to help him out, he needs a good defensive special team. And I'm not trying to dog on Drew. I love the kid to death. I really do. I love his family. Like, this is great people, but this is just the situation. This is who he is and what Notre Dame's is got.
It's strange, that stretch that he had there from when he played poorly in his first start against Cal for the first half, and then from the second half, then through North Carolina and BYU, those 10 quarters of football, we all thought, wow, we're on to something here. I believe it was 7 touchdowns, 1 interception in that span. He was completing 75% of his passes, believe it or not, through that stretch. And actually, Mike, he raised his stock to number 17 in the country in pass efficiency rating after the BYU game. How crazy is that to think about now as we look back? So it's in there for him, and I don't know. I honestly think he's a bit of a head case. I think he goes as his confidence goes. quarterback and defensive back, those are the two positions that you have to have the shortest memories on a football team. And I think he stews a little bit when he's not playing well and he loses a little bit. And that's why Tommy Rees gets up in his ass quite a bit and gets on him because he needs it. He needs it. And while he says he loves that kind of coaching, I think he does. He has to keep his confidence up and have a shorter memory, Mike.
Couple thoughts. I love that Drew Pine wants to be chewed out. I mean, how often do we see people not like that in today's age, especially with young people? So
yeah, amen, brother.
Love Drew Pine for that. On the screen right now, I have the drive chart. Notre Dame's offense on the left, Syracuse on the right. A lot of good, a lot of bad, honestly, for both teams. Renee Martinez has dropped a couple super chats. So let's get to their comments. Need to spread it out. Receivers are good. I disagree, my friend, because when Notre Dame started throwing the ball a little bit, or I shouldn't say that, is when they went away from the ground and pound, running it downfield against Syracuse is when they started to lose some momentum. But yes, your comment here about Clemson's good. They have good athletes, but ACC is weak.
Yeah.
I mean, Notre Dame dominated the majority of this game against Syracuse, whereas and I want to say that Syracuse versus Clemson game was at Clemson, and Syracuse
It was.
dominated most of that game.
Well, I mean, to Renee's first point, I'm still not seeing the work out of these receivers. I don't have the eye of a coach like a Tim Hyde or some of these guys or Goolsby that played the game. But when I watch these receivers work, I just don't see the preciseness, the precision, I should say, of when I watch some of these other top schools. That said, now we're talking about Drew Pine I just think Notre Dame really needs to simplify it under Pine. Unfortunately, I would actually like to see Jack Cohn quarterbacking this team. I'd be curious to see if he could get more out of these young wide receivers. But again, it's just Michael Mayer in the running game and a little bit of Lorenzo Styles. And I think that's just the formula they're going to have to stick with. As far as the ACC comment, another good one by Renee, I thought this was Notre Dame's 25th straight regular season win, 26 maybe, 25 or 26. You'll have to bear with me on that. It's 26, I believe.
Yep.
In the regular season against an ACC foe, and it's 13th straight on the road. I think its two most impressive wins were today and against North Carolina, 2 road games against ACC teams. So you do wonder a little bit about the quality of the league or why Notre Dame raises its level when it plays these teams.
Okay, so I wanted to mention this as we're kind of talking about the receivers. Bobby O says it drove me nuts when Pine had forever in the pocket and still couldn't find someone open. I really, really do hate the view you get on the TV. If it were up to me, you would see the behind the quarterback kind of sky view so you can see all 22. I mean, so it's Syracuse is dropping 8, right? Rushing 3, and all you see is just the quarterback, the offensive line, defense line. You don't really, you just see that's all you just see the line of scrimmage. You don't see what's happening downfield. So Pine can't throw downfield. It's like get rid of. I can just see and you folks, it's like get rid of the ball, Pine. What are you doing? It's like, do you want him to throw a pick? Because maybe no one's getting open. Maybe he's not seeing people downfield. Don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So
it's a fair point. You wonder what the progressions look like, and you make a good point as well, Mike. That an aerial view would show, maybe what he should have seen. But yeah, we're obviously we're stuck with the line of scrimmage look.
Todd, he got destroyed, and I was like, man, the way he got hit on that one sack, where he started rolling to his left on that 3-man rush, boom,
man. I can't. I thought the guy should just grab the ball from him. To me,
he could have. Pine did not see him at all. Kid's tough as nails. But whether that was on him or
I thought your boy Angeli was coming on in after that.
Speaking of, appreciate the super chat. Washed up says exactly. Singer can't count on Pine. There's no way Angeli could be any worse. He should have gotten a chance to throw the ball today.
That thing was a little ornery still.
Sorry, Todd, say that again.
That game got a little ornery. That's about what you needed to get out of Angeli. Would love to see it, but man, you just hate to see that it all break down. I didn't think they could have put Angeli in any earlier than what they did. I can't wait to see Steve play. Big fan like Mike is of him. He looked great during fall camp and the limited chances we had to see him play and in the open practices. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. You know what? Let me spin this, Mike, if you don't
All right,
mind,
go ahead.
on Walshed Up's behalf here. Let's face it, we're going to be set with a 3-quarterback starting race next fall. Well, spring, summer, and fall for that matter, between Angeli, Buckner, and Pine.
No, you're not.
No, all right. Carry on, my friend.
They're going to bring in help. They have to.
Really,
I think they're going to go to the portal.
Guys, and they're going to go get a.
I think they're going to go to the portal.
Transfer.
I think it might be 3.
That's
maybe one of those 3 names you just mentioned is out. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I can't tell the future. And
you don't know that Pine's the starter. Why would he flee? Angeli's not going to flee.
Pine wasn't the starter before the season.
Well, he's the starter now, and he's doing a bang-up job.
Continue though, Mr. Burlage.
He's 5-1 as a starter.
After all these shows, I can't believe that there's a discussion going on about Drew Pine, and I'm not the positive one about Pine. Is that really what's happening right now?
No, it is. No, I Walshed Up. He just kind of gave me. What's that quarterback competition going to look like through the off season?
Okay, that's very.
I mean, you just seen Buckner gets the job.
I don't know, because I think they're going to bring somebody in. Who did they get at the high school ranks? Is that player an early enrollee or not? We don't know. But to answer this question, it kind of goes back a little bit to the whole discussion about Tobias Merriweather. Should he be playing? Is he ready, or is it just a bad decision by the coaches? It's just like there's no way Angeli could be worse. Well, maybe he is. I love I love him to death. Like I'm the biggest fan of Steve Angeli in the world, but like
he doesn't have the knowledge that Pine does. He can't. We're still mid-season. I mean, what we're not going to test sample here right now. I'm going to try to win some games. You beat 2 ranked teams, played well against a 3rd at Ohio State, a couple of number 16s in BYU, and now Syracuse. I guarantee they're going to give Clemson a little something. I just think so. I think the defense is playing very well, and Clemson's offense doesn't look invincible to me, Mike, at all. I think this is going to be a hell of a ball game.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. It's like Bernie's comment here. Pine should be 6-0 except for an Estime fumble. I think in college football too much, especially with this Notre Dame team, it's just it's not Pine is 6-0. It's Notre Dame. This team is going to be so much more than just Drew Pine. Notre Dame is winning.
Buckner's 0-2.
I'm sorry?
Buckner's 0-2.
But it's more than just the quarterback, Like, I think at the NFL level, it's like, oh, this is Roger versus Brady, right? This is that kind of – it's just not that in college football, especially with this Notre Dame team. It's the entirety of the team against the entirety of the other team, because Notre Dame is not relying on Drew Pine. Well, if Drew Pine plays well, we're going to win. Oh, he went 9 of 19, 116 yards, a touchdown.
Didn't need him.
So that's what I'm saying. It's you can't say what Pine's record is. It's just kind of it's the team. It's my thought.
That's what we do. Did you know Ian Book is the all-time leader in wins at Notre Dame as a starting quarterback?
This is I'm ignoring that. This is the craziest comment I've ever seen. Right now, Singer's the voice of reason. What is that?
Because I'm off the scout team.
Yeah, these shows are a little bit different when it's not Coach Hyde or we don't have Mike Goolsby. It's just me and look, this show when it's me and Todd, it's just a couple of guys and we're just talking ball with you people. I mean, we're just hanging out in the garage. We're just hanging out with our friends and we're talking ball. That's what we're doing right now. So Andrew says, do you believe Estime established himself as the running back 1 today? Hell yes. He was fantastic. 20 for 123 with 2 touchdowns. Andrew also says he ran so hard. Remind me of Marshawn Lynch. Hell yeah. I've said he looks like a Leonard Fournette out there at times. I mean, that stiff arm when he was running to his left was fantastic. Got to give some love to Logan Diggs, 20 rushes, 85 yards, so a touchdown. Can you believe that that was Diggs' first rushing touchdown of the season? I believe he has a receiving touchdown this season.
Right. Yep.
That was his first rushing. When the Notre Dame PR tweeted that, I was a little bit surprised. But what did you think about Estimate today, Todd?
He was amazing. That stiff arm certainly stands out. I mean, you have to give credit to that offensive line, man. It was just a job up front. I enjoyed it very much watching it. And again, they should be able to, against a Navy and a Boston College, and maybe even against a USC, whose front is not all that stiff and strong. They're an offensive team, but I think they can impose their will like they did. Clemson is another story. We'll find out Saturday. I don't know, but to Andrew's question, you put the in there, reestablished. I don't think I honestly think they're going to continue to look at hot hand, the coaches, when they split carries around, and these two are going to get their reps. They are going to get their reps, 20 and 20. So when you talk about Estime having obviously more yards and one more touchdown than what Diggs did, at the same time, 20 carries and 20 carries, and I think that's exactly what Tommy Rees and Notre Dame want to see.
Walshed up, we'll get to your super chat in just a moment. I want to talk about Brandon Joseph. Pick 6 on the first play of the game to spot Notre Dame 7-0. That was excellent. And then helped close the game out as well. Someone who had a lot of hype coming into this season.
Yeah, I was down on all that.
Kyle Hamilton replacement. Like, can he be that kind of guy? And just hasn't put up great numbers. But it was fantastic today.
It was nice. He's such a good kid, and I thought he would. You know what? I was one of the people that obviously with the flawed theory that.
Oh, I'm sorry. He did not have that second interception.
They took that back.
I'm sorry about that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no problem there. He actually did a really good job on punt returns today too. I thought he had 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. He had a 23-yarder mixed in there. But I was one of the folks coming into this season that, given Joseph's production at Northwestern, that he would be a ball hawker like Kyle Hamilton was. I didn't think there'd be a giant drop-off between Hamilton and Joseph. I've obviously been incredibly wrong on that, which is really a shocker during this crazy season. But it was nice to see him get his pick 6. It was the first interception, obviously, for him this season, and his first career touchdown. He played 32 games at Northwestern and never scored. Had a bunch of picks, but never scored. So it was nice to see him get going. I think it's been a little bit of a underachieving year for him so far, but he's still a great athlete and a great player. I don't know. Maybe his bad season brings him back next year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Underachieving in the sense of the expectations, right? It's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and frankly, statistically, I mean, he only has one pass pass breakup coming into this game, and then had no picks, and I think he was about 8th on the team in tackles. I believe it was like 25. So as a safety, I think I expected more than that. He's been a little dinged up, and that's kind of hampered his production a little bit. But yeah, I think he is underachieved to this point, given what we thought he was going to be.
All right, let's just get a quick slow clap for special teams coordinator Brian Mason. He deserves a raise. I think there's, a couple people who deserve a raise when it comes to Notre Dame football. Brian Mason, obviously Mike Singer. I think he deserves a raise.
No, you're half right.
that I'm right about Mason because I think let me pull it up. It's Patrick Engel who tweeted it's 5 block punts this year. 5 in a season. That's a lot. 3 straight games they blocked a punt, including 2 from last week.
I saw fired up. Heading into this weekend, the 4 block kicks were only 1 behind South Carolina, which had 5, but that was just block kicks. So I'm certain that 5 block punts leads the nation. There's no doubt about that. It's been impressive, and they didn't get a lot out of it. They got 10 points out of it against UNLV, so I shouldn't say a lot. They got a touchdown out of the one today. So those are making a difference. Those are making a difference. He really has. Let's do it this way, Mike. Have you seen what Brian Polyan's doing at LSU? That is a special teams flipping disaster down there. And so when you look at what you have now, which and I'm a big Brian Polyan fan, to be honest with you, but he is really struggling down there with the special teams.
You a big Brian Polian fan because of Manti Te'o?
No, because he went to John Carroll University. A couple good buddies of mine went to school with him. JCU up in Cleveland. That's all. He's a good dude. He's just good. He's the kind of guy you'd want to go grab a beer with. Let's put it that way. He's real.
I want to talk about the change in the momentum in the third quarter a bit, because Del Rio comes in, he's slinging it off the bench. Notre Dame defense is reeling a bit, and I felt like Notre Dame started going away from the ground and pound.
Yep, agreed.
I remember in one drive, Notre Dame ran an RPO. When Pine pulled it, wanted to throw it, no one was there, throws it out of bounds, and then it's just, and then it was like I think Notre Dame ran it for a few yards on second down, 3rd and 5 or 6, skips one to Lorenzo Styles on a screen. It's like they just went away from that ground and pound.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 24-17. Syracuse has scored on a couple of drives. There was a field goal and then a touchdown. It's like, oh, crap, they've got the ball. They're about to drive down and tie this thing up 24-24. Yeah. Howard Cross deflects it at the line. A leaping Maris Leofau picks it off. And then from there, Notre Dame dominated. That pick changed the game. Did you give a game ball to one of those two players in your article, Todd?
No.
You should have, because that was the play.
I didn't even call that the game-changing play. I that didn't even make my list as the game-changing play. I thought about it, but I thought the game-changing play had already been made on that Michael Mayer 37-yarder that allowed Notre Dame to go up 21-7 at halftime.
No, because Syracuse had all the momentum. Syracuse
didn't have the lead or anything.
They were probably about to.
You say so. But to your point about getting away from the ground and pound, the touchdown drive before, a little bit previous to that, Notre Dame ran the ball 9 times on an 11-play drive that went 56-ish yards. And it was just a combination of Diggs and Estime, and just rolled it right into the end zone. And the ensuing possession, which I think is what you're talking about, although it might have been a little bit later in the game, they threw on 1st and 10. And Pine, I don't know what the hell, I think he hit a Syracuse trainer with a hot pass or something. So now they're 2nd and 10, then they try to run it again. And so, when you're just dominating like that, Mike, with the running game, there's no reason to trick or surprise, I don't think, on a little flare route. It didn't make any sense to me, and put yourself in 2nd and 10 when more than likely you're going to be in 2nd and 4.
Yeah, folks, please do hit the thumbs up, whether you're watching live with us or watching back. Big win for Notre Dame to go to 5-3. It's a number 16 ranked Syracuse team. They were undefeated after losing Syracuse. Good team. That Notre Dame defense is so. I'll let people behind the curtain a little bit. After, or I remember during the season last year, talking to some Notre Dame sources, folks were very worried about that Notre Dame defense losing a lot of guys to the league, or via transfer or whatever it might be, and that Notre Dame would be in some trouble next year because the defense wouldn't be as good. But then you get Isaiah Foskey back. You bring in Brandon Joseph as a transfer. A lot of guys just came back when some folks at Notre Dame didn't feel like all those guys were going to come back, and they did. Yeah. They wanted that season with Marcus Freeman.
Loyola twins, yeah, for sure.
Adam Loyola, yeah. And then this Notre Dame defense has been outstanding. And yeah, Andrew Gilmore says, can we acknowledge the linebackers made some plays? Definitely want to stay tuned to the Mike Goolsby show tomorrow night. I will play host, but I don't think I'm going to talk much tomorrow. I'm doing all that now because we'll have Tim Hyde and Mike Goolsby tomorrow night. So they will break down and really give that coach's perspective on a lot of stuff. So make sure you check that out. But linebackers, Notre Dame defense in general was excellent.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Linebackers played well. That's been a little bit of a hit and miss position this year for sure. Working through some injuries, some bruises and whatnot, but they did play well. that's the unit I don't trust very much, though.
Yeah.
I just always worry about the athleticism against the really good teams on the schedule. So far, really, they've held up. I mean, they played their best ball against the more athletic teams on the schedule. So maybe perhaps my worry should dissolve a little bit. But
Yeah.
at this point, I'm still,
Yeah.
I don't know. But they
Yeah.
did move some plays.
Yeah. A few more things, and then
Does
we're
a
gonna get out.
linebacker have a turnover this year?
I'm sorry?
Does a linebacker have a turnover this
How
year?
about Mr. Maris Leafow picking off a pass today?
Before today, there were none, though, right? But they're
I don't
not
know.
going to count.
I
So
don't know.
the
I don't know.
answer, I don't believe so. Couple
I'm sure
fumble,
someone in the YouTube chat will let us know.
couple fumble recoveries up front, and then the Bracy interception. So yeah, today was the first turnover for a Notre Dame linebacker, and I think that's a troubling point when you look at that unit.
Adam says Kaiser stripped and recover a fumble.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did get one of the fumble recoveries. Nice.
All right, there you go. Few things
Better than Wikipedia.
we're gonna a couple more things that we're gonna get out of here for today's show. And again, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday nights. We will have Goolsby and Hyde. Yeah, Susan, completely agree with you here. Don't know what to make for
You
this
should see
team.
my prediction record on this team. It's embarrassing.
As someone who's covered Notre Dame as long as you have, want to get your take on this. Foskey is very close to Justin Tuck's sack record. Just your thoughts on Foskey probably passing up Tuck this season and just Foskey overall.
Yeah, I mean, thank God he came back for his, this season. He certainly didn't have to. And after a bit of a sluggish start, he's hitting his stride now. I kind of felt bad for him because he did come back, and then he's not playing particularly well. And I thought maybe his draft stock would sink, but nah, he's coming on at the right time. He's a great player. He's that prototypical defensive end. They want basketball-looking players now. The guy's so long. Mike, you know as well as I do, when you go on that practice field or on the sideline during a game, dude, 7 sticks out. You know where Isaiah Foskey is. He is so long. He's going to be a great NFL player, and I hope he just continues to thrive on what he's doing now. That record of Justin Tuck's 24.5. Foskey has 22.5. Actually, Foskey tied Corey Minor today with that 22.5. So 3 more sacks will get it done for Foskey, and there's no doubt the way he's playing right now, he will get that. He's a great player and a nice kid.
Let's go back to the Notre Dame running backs. Estime, 20 for 123 and 2 touchdowns. Diggs, 20 for 85. Both of those young men ran the ball really well.
Yeah. It was
Chris Tyree.
What do we do with him, Mike? What do we do with him?
So when I want to say it was after Notre Dame had that interception, they started going to Tyree more and ran him up the middle. And I actually, Notre Dame was moving the ball, not big chunk gains or anything. He finished with 8 for 23.
It just looked weird. It looked different. I didn't like it.
It's just what do you make of Chris Tyree? Because I think that
got to find somewhere for him, and it's not.
Yeah, I think he's going to play in the NFL. I really, you could just see him playing for like the Patriots and just like playing some kind of slot receiver, running back. You can see it, but it's just not. You would think this was the year for him at Notre Dame. For sure. Kyron Williams, and it's just not.
I actually had a battle, our point counterpoint. I went up against Tyler Horka, one of our fine beat writers for blueandgold.com, and we decided on who was going to be the most important player for Notre Dame over the second half of the season. I said, since Michael Merrill get his, I think it's Chris Tyree, because he's going to have a bust out. They're going to find something to do with him, and I was wrong. You have to find a place for him with that speed, Mike. I know we've been talking about this for years, and it's a shame we've been talking about this for years. He had a terrific freshman season and really not much since. He just can't seem to find a place, and I kind of blame that on the coaching more than the player.
Okay. Why is that?
Because you have to find your fastest guy on the team a place to get the ball in his hands. That's why the coaches have not done a good job of getting the football in Chris Tyree's hands. And it proved today when you're trying to run him in between the tackles. There has to be something creative in Tommy Rees's playbook, head, whatever, to get Chris Tyree involved, be it a slot receiver. Hell, just something tricky once in a while. You got your Mitchell Evans thing behind under center now. Can't you find something to get the ball in Tyree's hands?
Yeah, you see the career rushing stats here on the bottom of the screen. He had 73 attempts for 496, 4 touchdowns his freshman year.
Yeah.
Look at that. Same amount of attempts.
Man, we were thinking this is the real deal here.
Less than 200 yards, from freshman to junior year, half as many touchdowns. So he did have that 94-yard run.
I think I'd be kind of pissed off if I was Chris Tyree.
Yeah. It's just not. He's, it's just Estime and Diggs. That 20. Notre Dame loses out Will Shipley. Who do they go get in that 2021 recruiting class at running back? Oh, just Audric Estime and Logan.
Oh, is that right, Mike? That's interesting.
Those two guys have been balling out. But yeah, I just think it's interesting. Chris Tyree he's a good player, but yeah, he's just not.
They're going to like that straightforward push. They're getting off that line and those two big backs. He's not gonna. Tyree's not going to get anything from the backfield this season. He's not, and that's why you have to find somewhere to put him to get the ball in his hands. You just have to. I think it's coaching malpractice if you don't.
All right, last comment here, and then we're going to get out of here. Snowman says, will Notre Dame play in a bowl game this year? Definitely appreciate the super chats. Got the rest of the schedule up on the screen here. Absolutely. Notre Dame is 5-3.
Yeah, they're not going to lose out.
They play, they just got to win one more with Clemson at home, Navy in M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Boston College at home, and then at Southern Cal to end the season. How do you feel like this regular season will play out, Todd?
After the win today, I think it might play out pretty well. I have a feeling, although reluctantly, I'm not ready to pick the upset this weekend against Clemson, but I more and more think it's going to be a hell of a football game. Navy shouldn't be an issue. Boston College shouldn't be an issue. USC will be a hell of a game. So yeah, I think we're looking at what a 8 or 9 win season.
8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, where are we now? I mean,
well, 9 wins would
7
be
or 8, 7 or 8. Yeah, 7 or 8. My bad. I overvalued that a little bit. I got so excited about Syracuse today.
Yeah, so apparently Boston College lost to UConn today, which I think losing to UConn.
Yeah, I think that's UConn's first win since 2010.
That's a kiss of death.
Yeah, right.
So I'm saying 8 wins. I think they're going to win 8.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think they beat Navy and Boston College, and I think they split with Clemson and Southern Cal.
Ooh, I like your split. You have to have me back on. You think they split? That's interesting, right there. All right.
It's just because, Notre Dame's played well against good competition, and I don't know, maybe they split with Navy and Boston College because, again,
right, exactly.
They have lost to Marshall and Stanford.
They'll beat Clemson and USC and lose to Navy and BC. I guess the question becomes, to expand on what was asked, is what are we looking at? Maybe like a TCU and a Sun Bowl or something type of thing. Which is
didn't TCU win today? They're like a closer to a playoff team than a Sun Bowl or whatever.
Yeah, they're the meat of their schedule. I have no idea where I came up with TCU, Mike.
Yeah,
maybe
but
LSU. Maybe
people
LSU.
are commenting the Mayo Bowl
with LSU.
Please, for my line of work,
how much fun would that be? You know what? That's going to be my mission this week, Mike. Pimping for an LSU ND bowl game. I love it.
Can you make that happen? Can you make that happen, Todd? Can you make those calls?
Everything I can. I've been around this business for a while. I think I can.
All right, cool. Well, appreciate everyone for joining us live or watching back via YouTube. We're going to end the show here. Again, folks, 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Myself, Tim Hyde, Mike Goolsby, talking Notre Dame football, reacting to the win against Syracuse, and then what's next for the Fighting Irish programs who are not going to want to miss it. Head to blueandgold.com for all of your Notre Dame football coverage, as well as recruiting coverage, and you can go to that loose emoji message board and get the full reaction from Notre Dame Nation on what they're thinking about this Fighting Irish football program. Appreciate everyone, and we'll catch you next time.